Welcome to Grapes with CEOs. I'm your host, Patrick Wood. Joining me today, I have the pleasure to announce Chris McFadden from NX Gold has joined us all the way from very warm, sunny Melbourne, Australia. I'm going to note that today is March the 3rd in Toronto, where we're filming, and it's about minus 10 Celsius outside. For our US friends, that's about that's about 15 Fahrenheit. It's miserable, not nearly as nice as it is in Melbourne, Australia today. So thanks for joining us, Chris.
Great, thanks for having me.
Great. You are in Toronto today, not just for Grapes with CEOs, of course, although I'd like to say that it was, but you're here for PDAC,
Yep.
which is the Prospectors and Developers Association of Canada, their annual conference, which is one of the, if not the largest in the world, I think. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah. I think they often have, I believe, somewhere around 20,000 attendees, perhaps more each year. So it's massive.
Yeah, and this is your 10th, I think this is your 10th year here?
I think it's about my 10th time in a row.
Wow.
So I should get a special award or ticket or something.
Yeah, and so very quick question, because you are in a cyclical sector of the markets. Do you notice the
absolutely.
The ebbs and flows of that at the PDAC conference?
Yeah, absolutely. There's some years there's a real buzz when the market's up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of interest in junior companies in particular and explorers and what's next.
Yeah.
And you also, over time, you pick up ebbs and flows in commodities. Which companies, whether it's battery metal one year or copper the next or gold.
Yeah, the hot darling of the day, so to speak, yeah.
That's right,
yeah.
That's right. And you do notice that all of a sudden there's a lot of cobalt companies or gold explorers or even uranium.
Sure.
Every now and again.
Yeah.
It just depends what's going on in the market.
Excellent. Well, look, we'll talk a little bit about what you expect at PDAC this year and in the market as well. But let's obviously go to what we are graced with today. This is a Red Hill Estate 2017 Chardonnay from your home area, your home region.
Yeah, I mean, it's from an area, a place called Red Hill.
Okay.
It's on the Mornington Peninsula, which is sort of almost to the suburbs of Melbourne. It's about an hour south of the city on a peninsula, funny enough, the Mornington Peninsula. So it's a beautiful area. Being close to Melbourne, it's a very popular part of the world. There's some fantastic beaches there. So in theory, you can go surfing in the morning and you can go to a winery for lunch in the afternoon. And
it sounds like a terrible life.
It's a terrible part of the world.
How do you deal with it?
It is. It's a beautiful place, and it's quite unique because being a peninsula, it's surrounded by water, obviously,
sure.
and it's so it's got Bass Strait to the south, which is a very wild, rugged stretch of water. Gets some massive swells and big winds coming up from the south.
Is that where all the great whites like to hang out?
There are sharks there, yeah.
Okay.
There are sharks,
yeah.
and there's actually close by from this winery, from Red Hill Estate, you can see across what's called Western Port Bay to a place called Phillip Island. And Phillip Island's famous for a few things. There's a motorcycle track there, and they have Grand Prix motorcycle races there. Cool. I think the Hemsworths are from there as well.
Okay. Yeah.
But they have a place, and they're little penguins, fairy penguins that are smaller than that bottle of wine, and
sure.
they come in and out every day. So it's a real tourist attraction.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have a place called Seal Rocks, which you can see from this winery in the distance. And so there's seals, and so where there's seals,
great white snacks,
there are sharks. So there are a few sightings every now and again, but it doesn't stop people from going swimming. It's just a fact of life, really.
Yeah. You wouldn't catch me dead in that one. That being said, you know what? We've had this bottle open for a bit, and the aroma is just fantastic.
Yeah, it's really strong, isn't it? It's,
what is it that you like about this particular?
Well, it's not necessarily the wine. I mean, I love the wine, but it's sort of the memories of going to Red Hill Estate and other wineries in the area, where you can sit outside. You've got magnificent views, and what these people do at Red Hill, they have a cellar door, but they also have a really nice restaurant, and
terrific!
They have quite a well-known thing on Sunday afternoon. They call it prawns on the lawn.
Okay.
And so you literally can go and sit on this beautiful green grass, the vines are right next to you, and you've got the view, and they just bring out barbecued prawns, and you can have the.
Can we go there now? Is there a way to do that?
Well, it's been very warm, so you'd get sunburnt. But
yeah, that sounds good to me. Better than frostbite. So
exactly.
Well, cheers.
Well, cheers.
Let's give this a shot. And,
yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so this is
delightful.
It's
very nice.
Very reasonably priced wine. You at the cellar door, you buy half a dozen or a dozen, and it's for drinking at parties and barbecues and.
Oh, for sure. I could absolutely
drinking.
see eating prawns on the lawn with a great vista, having a bottle of this.
And
this
when
is fantastic.
And when it is cold in winter, because we do get cold weather, it gets down to all of 15 degrees centigrade.
Right.
In winter, and we're sitting by the fire. Yeah, they do that area. It's because it's a cool climate.
Yeah.
Region. There's a lot of Pinot Noir vines on the Mornington Peninsula. About half the vines there are Pinot Noir, and there's Chardonnay and Pinot Gris, I think, as well as the other sort of variety they grow in the area.
Oh, fantastic! It's so light.
Yep.
So enjoyable. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing it.
It's a good drop.
Thanks for bringing it. Thank you for sharing it with me. So PDAC, let's talk about what you expect this year. Are we expecting more enthusiasm for your space, or?
I think so. I mean, I was down there this morning very briefly, and there were lots of people there. I spoke to a few people, and the vibe, if you like, the theme was that people are really excited about this year. The junior market in particular, and that's where I am with NX Gold, has had a bit of a tough time over the last 6 or 12 months. There's been a lot of distractions, if you like, in the market, and there's been a lot of interest in cannabis and previously blockchain, and even before that, some of the battery metals attracted a lot of attention.
Right.
So the more traditional investment companies or investment sectors, if you like gold and base metals, have struggled. And so I think as a result, there's now a lot of opportunity there, and now with what's going on in the gold space in particular with the majors, there's some very large M&A activity there. I think all of a sudden the spotlight.
And that recent Barrick Newmont news is pretty powerful.
Yeah, Barrick, Randgold. There's action at the top, if you like, and so I think traditionally that will then filter down through the sector, through the industry, through the gold players in particular. And everyone will now have a look at what's going on in the gold space. Right. And so opportunities where there's value will now be very exciting, I think, for investors and M&A activity and exploration, and it will really put the focus back on gold. Yeah, perfect. I think over the next 12 months.
And so NX Gold is, you're the CEO of NX Gold, which is a publicly traded company on the Venture Exchange. Yes. What can you tell us about NX Gold? What's going to make NX Gold shine, no pun intended, in this market?
Well, look, we have 2 projects, and a bit like Toronto, Melbourne, we've got some very different climates that we operate in. So we have, our first project was in Nunavut in northern Canada. Right. So quite a fair way north, near a town called Rankin Inlet. Okay. And that's in the freezing cold, if you like, particularly this time of year. Yeah. And we have another project in the Pilbara region of Western Australia, where at the moment it's mid-40s and very hot and hot all year, really. Of course. So we go from the Australian desert to the Canadian tundra. Yeah. So quite different projects, and quite different in their style and type.
Got it. Okay, and so these projects, these are exploration projects.
Yeah, very early stage exploration projects.
Got it. Yeah.
My background is across the whole mineral sector, but I've spent a lot of time in exploration over the years. I've worked at Rio Tinto and did a lot of work with exploration in that organisation, and also at Newcrest, did a lot of work with exploration there. And I've had some success with a company called NextGen Energy, which is a uranium explorer, which has made a major discovery in Saskatchewan. So we've got, our team's got a bit of a background and a pedigree of exploration and discovery and success. So Yeah, we're trying to do it again with gold, and we're very excited in particular about our Nunavut property because it's right next door to a project that's just poured its first gold for Agnico Eagle.
Right. Okay.
The Meliadine mine.
Right.
So it's now up and going.
And you guys are positioned adjacent to that?
We're directly adjacent to that and directly on
Fantastic.
the same geological structure
Okay.
that the Meliadine deposits are on.
Right.
And we've had some very exciting till samples, so which is the sampling of the soil at ground level, and also some boulders which are on the surface. And
got it. Okay.
The geologist.
What you've seen so far as a person with tons of experience in this business, you're excited.
Yeah, this has potential for a multi-million ounce type discovery.
Wow.
There are some challenges, of course, and we don't have access at this stage with a license from the local community, but we're working on that.
Yeah.
And we're hopeful that we'll get there at some point soon, and we'll be able to then get the drills turning because we've got targets ready to go.
Oh, fantastic.
But it just depends on getting access there.
Got it. And what's the approximate timing for that?
Well, I wish I knew.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Are we talking months or years?
Well,
What
hopefully
do we
months.
think?
Hopefully months.
Yeah.
It's always you've got to be patient and obviously considerate for the local communities and what they want. This is Inuit-owned land, so it is actually their land.
Right.
So we need to convince them and show them that we are worthy partners and that we're worthy custodians for their land.
Fair enough.
Effectively, and so they can still access for hunting and all that sort of stuff. So it's very important to them. So it's important. Obviously important for us to get it right.
I think it's interesting. You guys have two properties, two projects that are in the hopper, so to speak.
Yep.
And a lot of companies focus on just one project, and it's kind of do or die.
Yeah.
Is that the reason why you built the company around, or two projects within the company?
Yeah, look, absolutely. I mean, as I mentioned, I've worked in the bigger companies, and certainly at Rio Tinto, we used to have a very large exploration portfolio, and they still do. And they had a very large budget. But the idea was that you had numbers of projects, because the nature of exploration is, you might not find anything.
Of course.
Or if you do, it may not be big enough, or it may not be economic, or it might not be the right type of deposit, etc. So we used to churn the projects, and you prioritise your projects. And as you say, if you're only working one project and it doesn't work,
then what?
Well, then I think that encourages companies to waste money on, what we would say, flogging a dead horse. Good money after bad.
Right.
My philosophy is get in, do some work.
Yeah.
If it doesn't meet your targets or doesn't meet your criteria, I don't think there's any shame in saying, right, this is not going to work for us. Let's concentrate on this other project, or let's get another one into the portfolio.
Perfect.
And when you make a discovery, sure, focus on that one and then maybe do something with the other ones.
And I think as an investor, you want that. That style is really indicative of a management team that is not going to waste time, waste money, waste investor appetite and an opportunity, so to speak. A company that moves and pivots, and adapts to the scenarios at hand, so to speak.
Yeah, and look, that can be challenging to tell some of your investors that sometimes, because
of course
they may not completely understand that or have that same philosophy. But my view certainly is that you need to be able to be nimble and quick, and if a better opportunity comes up than the one you're working on, and you're able to pursue it, why not?
No kidding. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because the idea is to make a discovery, and exploration is very difficult. The rocks have to be right, but everything else has to be right too. In terms of your communities, your permitting, your water, environment, all of those sort of
many moving
things.
parts.
And no project is the same as another project.
Right.
In my experience, every project is different.
Yeah.
Every project has its challenges, and they're different every time.
Yeah.
So there's every exploration dollar we spend has to be justified by the last dollar we spent.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And if you drill a hole and it doesn't work, well, maybe that's time to move on.
Yeah. So well, you know what? That's great. That's a great philosophy, and I think it's something that shareholders and potential shareholders in particular, this is the kind of thing that they should be looking at in the junior exploration space. I guess, just on a more kind of personal level, what are some of the challenges you've experienced as CEO over the last few years? As you mentioned, I mean, it's been a difficult environment.
It has, yeah.
There has been a lot of capital kind of moving out of everything really into cannabis, and for a short while there, the blockchain as well. So. Yes. I'm sure that that has been a big challenge for you, and how have you kind of navigated through that, and how's that working for you?
I suppose as a CEO of a junior mining company, you always lie awake at night worrying where the next dollar's going to come from.
Yeah, of course. So the 3 a.m. night sweats, is that what we're talking about?
And that's real. It really is real. You're worrying about share price performance because shareholders like to see your share price going up, not down.
Yes.
And we've had some challenges on that front, particularly the last 6 months.
Yeah.
And I think everyone on the venture exchange has experienced that, particularly the last quarter last year. It was really tough.
Absolutely. And it's been a trend now for many years.
Really. It has. It's been quite difficult. You go on a road show, and travel is always challenging. Particularly, I'm coming from a long way away.
Of course.
And if I'm road showing in North America, you've got 20 hours of flying to get here. And,
Well, I think you shared with me before this episode started that you landed at 3 a.m. last night.
I think it was about that,
yeah. You're doing quite well.
Oh, thank you. The wine helps.
Is it? Yeah, good. That's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, that's right. But you come from Australia and you do your road show, and you get some really positive meetings, and generally the meetings are great, and people really like hearing the story.
Yeah.
And then you get some volume and you get some buying on the market, and you think, you beauty, share price is going up, we're getting buying, shareholders are happy.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you might go up to the project site in Nunavut, or you go over to Western Australia and the Pilbara for a few days, but then you come back and your volume is back to almost zero again, and the share price starts going back down. And so when do you get to do your day job of actually running the company and making decisions and budgeting and looking at results, etc.
And you can't hire a huge staff at your stage at this point.
Yeah, we're very lean. Mm-hmm. We have a very small office in Vancouver.
Yeah.
We don't have lots of IR consultants and investor relations team to run around and do the marketing, etc. So then you're back on the plane and doing it again. So it's you feel like you're on a treadmill sometimes, just running to keep up.
Yeah, no, of course.
But at the same time, there can be some great rewards, and you meet some great people, and have some challenging and good discussions with investors and the like.
And most importantly, at some point you strike something, and
that's the hope. Yeah, that's obviously why we do it, because when you do get that success, the not just the financial results, but the pride in actually achieving something that's really very difficult to do.
Yeah, indeed.
Is fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's pretty rare to have that success, and it's.
But when it works,
it's quite an alluring. It's quite an attractive thing to do, to be able to get that. When you see that drill core, you get that phone call from the geologist on site saying, "Hang on, we've got something here."
Yeah.
And they send you a photo and you can see it. It's
got to be an incredible experience. Very exciting. Yeah. That's when you crack open the champagnes and all the other good things.
Yeah, you go straight to the top shelf.
Yeah. So exactly. And I guess on that, the share price right now for NX Gold. What's the symbol for NX Gold?
NXE.
NX. E. Okay. And I think it's NXN.
NXN.
It's NXN. Yeah.
I'm thinking of Next Gen.
You're thinking of the other one, yes.
Yeah,
but
NXN. That's embarrassing, isn't it? I don't even know the.
It's okay. No. I make the mistake always.
NXN. Correct.
So NXN trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange.
Yep.
I think the share price right now is very low.
Absolutely.
I think the market cap in the company is somewhere around $10 million or so.
Yep.
This is a really superb time to look at something like NX Gold. And, I think for everybody who looks at, the fact that this sector's been beaten up so badly over the last few years, today is probably a great time to start looking at accumulation. And I think you've got a great opportunity, and the diversification that you've made is really fantastic as well. So congrats on that. I think this is a great opportunity for our viewers to look closer at. Obviously, Red Hill Estate Chardonnay. I'm very excited about our next sip, and I'm sure we'll probably finish the rest of the bottle this afternoon, which will be great. otherwise, thank you so much for joining us. It has been really great to know you and get to know the story and yourself a little bit more and find out a little bit about your background and, of course, be introduced to a really fabulous bottle of wine.
Excellent.
Thank you so much,
Patrick.
Chris.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks.
Cheers.
Cheers to you, mate.